Welcome back, everyone. Yes, indeed. Some early evening woo on the KBS live stream for you all today. I'm looking forward to this. The chat room is filling up nicely. A big shout out to everyone out there. Lots to get into. And of course, it's our little safe space where we can retreat from the madness. Yes, spend what is meant to be 1 hour, usually ends up 2, away from the craziness of the asylum. Safe space rules apply. Oh yeah. It's like the usual suspects every day. Yeah, I love it. So it makes it really good as well. We all get to know each other. But we've got Susie in there, legend. Greg, Queen. Who else we got? We've got Jeffrey. S. Mick. Hope you've not been gaming too much today, S. Mick. And then we've got Kevin Hurlin, a new name in there, by my reckoning anyway. If you've been here before, great name, great to see you. The amazing Armand. Awesome, good to see you. The dude, locked and loaded and ready to go in the Discord server. Great to have you. Jules, Black Templar. Oh yeah. Let's see then. Scrolling on up. Gradient. Great to see you, Blue Days. Cooking and listening and drinking coffee. I love it. Absolutely. Tinker. Billy Joe is in there. Hot Chicks in there as well. Yes, indeed. I missed out the middle name because I don't want to trigger any algorithms, you know. Kenny, how you doing, man? Who else? King. The King is always one of the first in there. Always amazes me. But today, that accolade, yes. Remember back in the day when the internet first came out, everyone would rush to say first. I found it really kind of hysterical at the time. But ZX81, he is first today. Are we ready? Oh, I've got a good one for you. Stand by. We're getting ready to go. Ah, yes, indeed. Look at this, look at this. I'm actually in the middle of the screen today. I have fixed the little mini corner studio, whatever you want to call it, to the point now where I can actually sit back, chill out, relax. So much better. And of course, you'll see the big redacted just up there. That way, we won't get distracted by the TV in the background. Now, I'm obviously set up in the lounge here, the living room, whatever you want to call it. I'm in the corner. And there's so much Anne will put up with, and I'm already encroaching into way too much space here, right? If you could see the setup, it's like, it's over the top. But we need it for what we do here, okay? But now there's no distraction. We got rid of the TV, and Anne ain't for moving the living room about. That ain't happening, okay? So I hope this is a lot more sensible now. I've not had to flip the image. All the writing should be the way it should be. You know, I even got dressed up kind of smart for the occasion. How you all doing? Great to be back. And yes, I have been doing a lot of stuff today behind the scenes. I've been taking care of the Discord invites if you want to join the Discord server. What are you waiting for? Come on, people. It's happening over there. It really is. I was chilling out with S. Mick today. S. Mick, can you tag me in a comment so I can, like, give me a name I can call you? That S. Mick. It's stupid. I don't know why I went with that way of saying it, but let me know your name, right? And, yeah, so I was behind the scenes. I was doing stuff online, taking care of, like, back-end stuff on the YouTube channel, comments, default settings for descriptions, taking care of the Discord invites. KBS Discord at protonmail.com if you want to join us over there. Yes, indeed. A big shout out to everyone that's on the Discord server already. And today, I am actually going to hold true to what I promised in the first place. Remember when we set up the Discord, I said it would be really great because eventually I'll be able just to get up in the morning, give it the big yawn and, just go over to Discord and something would open up a rabbit hole before me. And it happened today. I want to give a big shout out to Annabelle Lee. That was the individual in Discord who had me sitting going, oh yes, show is taken care of. We're going to live dive into the Encyclopedia of the strange and unusual, but not just yet before we get there. Tonight, coming up on the Kev Baker show, it's all happening. And yes, we'll be simulcasting. Now, I'm not sure if I've simulcasted with Brendan before, but tonight we're going for it. We're going for the simulcast. And talking of Brendan, here we are here. It's all set up. I'm going to drop that link in the chat room for you right now. There you go. Boom. In the chat room. Taking care of all of this today. Setting this up. Setting this stream up. Getting back into it, folks. Getting right back into the rhythm here. And I want to thank all of you for that out there. With a lovely members only stream on Sunday. I got a lot off my shoulders. Put a lot onto yours probably. But I want to start repaying that now. And yeah, I've been doing a lot today. A lot. And Brendan tonight, he's going to be joining me. He's got his very own podcast. It's called The State of the Universe. It's one of the top science podcasts on iTunes. He really does tend to get some of the biggest guests out there. Just to give you an idea, some of the guests he gets. Let's have a look at this. I'm envious when it comes to the caliber of scientific kind of guests old Brendan gets there, or young Brendan. Dr. Dan Hooper, can we answer the biggest questions in astrophysics? This guy's probably been nominated for some kind of, let's see, he's a senior science and the head of theoretical astrophysics group at the Fermi National Accelerator Laboratory. So yeah, there's a little taste of what you can expect from Brendan. Tonight, we're going to be talking about black holes. We're also going to be talking about Europa, life on Europa, and a whole heast. A whole heast? Where the hell did that come from? Is it going to be one of these days where I start kind of making words up and things like that? A whole host of other topics as well. So yes, I'm looking forward to that. And coming up in the near future, hopefully before the end of the year, we're going to be having Gerald Celente back onto the show. Yes, time to reach out to the big guests we've had on in the past and really double down. And like I say, we're going for it. 2020, we are absolutely 110% aiming for 100,000 subscribers. Now, 2020 is going to be a big, big year for me in the channel. It truly is. But that's giving me something to focus on. It's going to give you something to focus on as well. And let's start thinking big, right? And nothing has to change. I'll never change. I'll still be this lunatic that comes here during the day to probably lose all of the subscribers that I work really hard to get with the serious kind of show at night time. But you get the idea. But yeah, Gerald Celente coming on, and at perfect time. Because for anyone who doesn't know, Gerald Celente is the trends forecaster. He's the man behind the Trends Journal. And in my opinion, and for what that's worth, but along with many others, he's one of the most accurate trends forecasters. And with it being the end of the year, looking forward to 2020 and all the big stuff coming up and all the 100,000 subscribers, let's keep saying it. Let's manifest it, folks. Come on, we've been stagnating here at 91 for so long. The way the algorithm's working right now, it's slowly kind of trickling downwards. Because of all the fake accounts that are out there, some of the old accounts that aren't there anymore, I get it. So that's why I'm going to have to work harder. You're going to have to share the show harder, talk about it more, and we're going to get there. Absolutely. The promised land of 100,000 subs. And then we can put beside this, we can have the Chrome play button. I think that's the least we all deserve. I say we because you keep coming back for more, right? And that's what's so awesome about this. And today, we're going to even play a game. Yep, I've got a game lined up for us today. Can you believe it? We're going to look at the encyclopedia of the strange and the woo, as I call it. And because we're live diving it together, we'll take a look at some of the options we've got, some of the stories that appear as we go from page to page. And using the numbers 1 and 2, we'll take votes on where we go next, what story leads to which, and where we go, and see how it all transpires. We'll do this together. I think that's a pretty cool idea. And something that always made the safe space pretty cool was the fact that I go into the chat room. So let's see who else is kicking about in there. Brian is in there now. Tony Phillips, yes, indeed. The STREAMLABS robot is in there, leaving timely links to anyone who wants to become a member of the channel. And talking of members, you see it down below me there, see him? The Mothman. Mothman! Yes, that is from Ryan Gable's t-shirt. We all love Ryan here. Big shout out to you, brother. Send people over to your website, thesecretteachings.info. If you haven't checked out Ryan Gable's show, please do, because Ryan is the man. He was on a round table with Clyde Lewis and others just the other night there. Fantastic stuff. Ground Zero, check that out. And of course, talking of checking places out, tfrlive.com. That's where I'll be tonight with Brendan Drackler, and we will be simulcasting here, but please remember to show some love and support to TFR, the home of the Kev Baker Show. So yes, the Mothman's there. I've put it there because we need 4 new members. And I'm thinking, if we get those 4 new members, if I show potential new members what it is that they're helping to unlock and why we're so eager to get it, there it is there. There is the Mothman. Yes, indeed. Now, I need to take just 30 seconds because my good friend, Bill Bean, has just messaged me. And when Bill messages, I at least tell him, you know, you need to give me a little while. So give me 1 minute at the most, folks. Will you give me that time? I'm sure you will. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. There we go, folks. There we go. I apologise. But you know how I am with Bill Bean. The two of us truly are like brothers, you know, on and off air. Really blessed to have been put in contact with Bill in the first place by my good friend Laura. Well, remember Laura Maxwell? She's still out there doing her thing as well. Remember to check out Laura. But yeah, Bill has been a true blessing to me and my family. So I know you appreciate the fact that I had to kind of respond there. I don't like to let Bill kind of leave him hanging. So yes, we're back at it. And you know, today we are going to get into something that's been inspired by one of you out there. And that's what makes this doubly cool, right? Because it gets into a lot of the stuff that we've spoke about before. Gets into a lot of the stuff that I like to get into. I would typically be looking at if I wasn't hosting my own show. And in recent times, I think you can look back at the recent guests and the recent topics. It's got hard, it's got heavy. And one thing that's given us some kind of relief from that is the paranormal. If you go back a couple of months, we were introduced to something called the Shadow Dude. Oh, who can forget all of that madness? And if you weren't here for the streams at the time, go back and watch some of the earlier streams. You'll see what that's all about. Or go and check out the Shadow Dude, Carmel, Maine. I'm sure that'll bring it up on YouTube. But yes, since then we've been in and out the Shadow Dudes, and the paranormal's always been quite close to the front when it comes to this stream, all of you out there and the paranormal. And of course, we've got our very own listener, Jason, in the chat room, First World Problems. He's embarking and setting out on his own kind of career here on YouTube and in the real world, where he is going to be investigating some of the haunted hotspots in the UK. 26, yes. There we go. Right, that's it. So that's Bill. I've just told Bill now. That's me. I'm on the air. He's like, oops. So we're back. Yes. So the paranormal. Now, we've also had the Discord server, which I talked about. And there's been many people joining the Discord server, and I thank you all. And it's free to join. There's no obligation. You know, it's just something that's there 24/7. There's usually somebody hanging about that'll be there to respond to your any request or fun and games or whatever it is you want to get up to. And then there's different rooms set up. So today I went to one called the Paranormal, funnily enough, because I was just having a little look around. I don't spend enough time on Discord, and that's something I'm going to be changing as well. Because look what it provides, today's show. And I seen a link from somebody called Annabelle, like I was saying. I'll just get ready to bring this up here. We'll go to the other studio. Yes, we've still got the Mothman up in the top right-hand corner. And there's the bar, 121. Come on, folks. We need 4 new members to unlock the Mothman. Yes, indeedy. So then, I went to the paranormal room on Discord, and then there was a story that we're going to get into to kick this off. But it was this story and the website that it came from and the name of it that just immediately sparked inspiration for today's show. Because this is just brilliant. Get a load of this, folks. The link that Annabelle Lee had left me took me here. So this is a website called theghostinmymachine.com. And in it, there is a segment that we're going to get to just shortly called Encyclopedia. But I started off with this one story, and immediately the headline caught my attention, right? We'll make it a bit bigger there. So we come down and it says, Encyclopedia of the Impossible. The mysterious bed of Ang or Ange Thong. Now, I'd never heard of this before. I don't know how many of you people out in the chat room have heard of this before, but this was totally new to me, right? And I'm thinking Encyclopedia, and this website is bad for opening links and things. I don't know what they've done to it. Doesn't matter. It's brilliant. And it says, like I was saying, the Encyclopedia of the Impossible. I'm already thinking that's pretty cool. Wish I'd thought of that. So then, let's get into this one story that kicked all of this off, okay? And this is me retracing my footsteps or my digital footprint from what happened earlier on. So it says here, type, CO, cursed, object. Again, we're in. This is looking good. Period. Location of origin, unknown. Subject is of indeterminate age and currently located in the Wat Thanon Temple in the province of Ange Thong, Thailand. I'm just going to make sure that's up on the screen there. It is. Yes, indeed. So it says appearance. Subject appears to be an ornate antique bed, and you can see it here, right? It looks like a baby's cot, maybe, with the things like the sides, the protectors on there. I don't know. It's a pretty ornate bed, right enough, right? So we come down, and it says measuring 1.5 meters wide, 3 meters long, and 1 meter high. It is carved of wood and painted of gold. Now, additional detailing is painted on subject in shades of blue, red, and yellow. And 3 of the subject's 4 sides are adorned with artfully turned posts and rails, creating a crib-like effect, or, according to me, a cage-like one. For all its beauty, it does not appear to be a pleasant place to sleep. Would you sleep in that? Would you, before we get deeper into this? And I'm sure if Annabelle's out there, she knows exactly where we're going with this, but let's get back into it. So, modus operandi. I'm liking this more. Subject is passive in nature, waiting for targets to approach it, rather than actively drawing in targets itself. So targets therefore appear to be self-selecting, the kinds of people who not only do not believe in spirits, curses, or other supernatural phenomena, but moreover are driven by the need to challenge others' beliefs in spirits, curses, or other supernatural phenomena. Targets who take it upon themselves to challenge subject may do so by sitting or laying down on the subject. Now, should the target choose to do so, they will at first experience no immediate side effects. However, within the space of 24 hours, targets will become severely ill, develop acute gastrointestinal issues, and subsequently expire. Oh, hang on. We are missing something, right? Come on. We need the thunderstorm for this. It's a KBS staple. It's what happens when we do these kind of things. So yeah, within 24 hours, they expire. So, there is no known way to stave off the subject's effects once the target has sat or laid down upon the subject. The illness is brought on by an encounter with subject responds to neither traditional nor modern medicine. Death is therefore imminent. Dun, dun, dun. Whoa. So it goes on to say containment. Subject is currently kept secure in an enclosed glass case in the sermon hall of the Wat Ton Temple in Anjtong, Thailand. Me love you long time. Signs warning of the effects of touching subjects. Be careful where you do that. Have also been placed around the glass case. It's not advised that these warnings be ignored. You better believe it. Imagine you didn't know about this thing. And I've been a security guard, right? I know how things go down, right? And I know. I don't believe that, you know, that dude that had something really unfortunate happen to him in that cell in New York. I do not believe the security guards in that place fell asleep, but I can tell you, as a security guard, we used to love, I say we plural, because any security guard will tell you they love to find somewhere where they might be able to steal maybe 10 minutes or so on a patrol or something like that. So you're just bimbling about. You see that thing in the corner. Oh, yeah, well, I'll tell the boys about this one. I'm just going to lie in this. Before you know it, 24 hours by the sounds of it, you know it pretty soon, you're gone. What is that all about? So it says the additional notes here. And remember, I'm reading this today. I'm thinking, oh, my, this could make for something. Additional notes located in the Pong Pong or Phong Phong sub-district of the Anjtong district of Pamok, Wat Tanon, dates back to the Thonburi era of Thai history. It is notable for containing a life-sized Buddha statue standing 2 meters high and carved of wood. It is known as the Longpo Buddha Rampung, and I've absolutely butchered that. Apologies to all of our Thai listeners out there. Imagine that if we're going out in one of these Thai internet cafes or something. That'd be pretty cool. Big shout out to everyone over there. Any travellers that listen to the show, make sure you take us to Thailand. That'd be good. So, Anj Tong itself is located within central Thailand. The name Anj Tong translates to Gold Basin. Now, it's believed to have come from the geography of the area as well as the colour of the rice which grows in the region. Although small, Anj Tong contains more than 200 temples. Now, that says to me at some point this was regarded as a very, very, very sacred place. Maybe something energetic going on there. Just saying, just my first thought when I read this today. It's not known who carved the subject or for whom it was originally intended. I would say probably somebody's worst enemy. Or could it have been like some marital bed and then maybe some brown chicken, brown cow with one of the hands or something? And whoever it was then got some warlock or wizard or some like ninja Buddha in to put some curse on the bed. I don't know. I'm just saying. So, what little is known about its history states that the subject originally belonged to a senior monk or abbot of Wat Tanon. However, once the subject's effects were known, inhabitants of the area became fearful of the subject, removed it from the temple, and abandoned it in the forest. Oh my, imagine finding that bed right beside one of those crazy staircases that we've talked about before. Remember the ones that just turn up in the forest for no reason, don't go anywhere, and a bed just beside it. I think that would make it even more creepy, right? So, where does it go on here? Subject remained there. And they make it sound like it's a really scientific or police report. They're like woo detectives. The subject remained there for some time until it was rediscovered, brought back to the temple and restored. At this time, the subject was also secured behind glass so as to prevent targets from sitting or lying upon it. The subject gains a certain notoriety following the broadcast of a segment featuring it on Bangkok news organisation Thai Rath Morning News programme on March 31st, 2018. Recommendation: subject may be observed by visiting Wat Tanon. However, do not, again I reiterate this, do not, under any circumstances, take a seat upon the subject, and certainly don't try to sleep on it. You'll not survive the encounter. Dun, dun, dun. So, pretty cool story. Something I hadn't heard of before. But it's what it led me to. That's what's really, really cool about this website, folks. It truly is. Because you come up here, and like I say, I went to the Encyclopedia section, and this is what opens up. So it's called The Ghost in My Machine, Stories of the Strange and Unusual. So that's why I'm literally calling it the Encyclopedia of the Strange and the Unusual. And this, ladies and gentlemen, this here is one of the most woo-filled websites that I've come across in some time. And what was even more amazing to me was the fact that eventually, when I kept scrolling down, I came to something of very, very significant connection to the show right here. Ah, yes, the dude is out there. He's one of our newest members on Discord, and he often jokes about going for a beer with the Shadow Dude. Yeah, the Encyclopedia of Woo. You know it's got a segment on the Shadow Dudes, right? It had to. So we're going to dive into the Shadow Dude story here quickly. But then what we're going to do is, from the Shadow Dude story, we're going to go and we're just going to like take a look at a couple of links from the Encyclopedia, or we'll get you out there in Chatland to make a suggestion that we can search. It's like a vault of woo you can search. It's like the Google of woo. It's absolutely great. We have some fun with it. And of course, maybe not fun for people who actually experience shadow people. And I've been there. I get it. Absolutely. So sometimes when I laugh and joke, please don't take that as me rubbishing anything. Not at all. And in particular, the shadow dudes, because that really was one of the things that brought me even closer to Bill Bean. I had my very own shadow dude incident. It's crap, it's boring, it's not great. It was just a corner of the eye thing. Somebody in the toilet, and I go speaking to my son, expecting it to be him, and it wasn't my son. He answered me from a different part of the house, which really jolted me. See that way you're expecting somebody to talk to you from somewhere, and then it's somewhere else. Boom. Yeah. And all in the aftermath of going to Crowley's house, just saying. So, Encyclopedia of the Impossible. And somebody in the chat room, Armand, is saying, I wonder if you put a dead body on the bed, would it come back to life? Oh! Ooh. And of course, Armand's talking about this bed right here. The mysterious bed of Ang Thong. Pretty cool. I think my speculatory story about it being like some kind of extramarital affair was probably cooler. We could probably have embellished that and made it like a bigger selling point for tourists and things. I don't know. But that's one creepy ass bed, right? There's a good point. You know, if you ever go home, again, I need some music. I need some music for when I burst into the dating tips. But if you go home and somebody's got a bed like that, I don't know. It's 50-50. I'm leaving it up to you if you stay or not. That might be your thing. I don't know. So over to the shadow dudes, right? We'll go in here. And remember, folks, if you want to leave a comment for me, just put the @ sign and then type the. My channel should come up. Click the channel, type your message, and it's a lot easier for me to then see it popping up on the side. So then, and of course we've got the stream now. I think I've got it finally, you know, working really, really good. I can see the chat. Everything's all kind of in the one place. Don't have to worry too much about overheating and burning things. So we are good to go. Everything good to go, even into the shadow dudes. So what does the Encyclopedia of Woo have to tell us about the shadow dudes? And remember, Brent Thomas, somebody that's on TFRlive.com, Truth Frequency Radio with me, he's the king of the paranormal. He's got the #1 paranormal show on the network, in my opinion. Everyone's got their own opinion who's the best show. But I noticed him the other day talking about the fact that a lot of shadow entity reports feature tentacled type things, beasties as we would call them up here in Scotland. So I found that quite interesting. And of course, Charlie Robinson last night, the octopus of global control. But let's see, and from this point forward, I'm going blind with you. I haven't read what the Encyclopedia of Woo has to say about our friends, the shadow entities, okay? So from here on in, we're flying together, right? We're going blind. We're letting you lead the show after this. So let's see. It says CC, this is their type, their classification, corporally challenged. Now, period, location of origin, unknown. Subject has been documented in a wide variety of cultures throughout history. I feel like I should have like a Sherlock Holmes hat on, a pipe. Yes, yes, dear Watson. So then, subject has been documented in a wide variety of cultures throughout history, including, but not limited to, ancient Egypt, Arabic cultures, and ancient Rome. Now, if it's over in Egypt and Arabic kind of cultures, are we dealing with some kind of form of the jinn? That flameless fire, that otherworldly smoke type or smokeless type entities that we hear about in the Quran? Could be. So it is possible that the subject has always existed since the beginning of time itself. And I wonder that as well. You know, some of these things, there's some really strange aspect to the shadow entities. And they come in so many shapes and forms. So, appearance. Let's see what it says here. Subject appears to be a dark mass, humanoid in shape, but lacking specificity. Their outlines may appear blurry. For example, and they may not, and they may or may not have distinct facial features. Now, I personally, when it comes to shadow dudes, thankfully, I've never seen one that you could really define its face, but the one at Carmel, Maine comes bloody close to it, right? But that thing is like, that's physical form. I speak to people who have had their own shadow type entity experiences as well, and they come very kind of, how would I call it, ethereal, ectoplasmy. You can see through it, translucent, transparent, however you put it. And then there's other ones that appear to take a more physical form. I would absolutely crap myself. I would be smelly brown stuff propelled out the room if something as physical as that, like, really came close to me. But it was something as physical as that I seen in the toilet in my house one night. And that's why I do take this topic very, very seriously. And you might not have experienced them. You might think it's absolute bunkum. That's okay. Just one day, maybe, and I don't wish it on anyone, but maybe you'll have an experience that you'll think, oh, maybe I should have listened to that crazy guy on YouTube. So then, according to some reports, they are taller than the average human, measuring about 7 feet in height. Their limbs may also be disproportionately long. They are typically perceived as masculine. Oh, that can't go on. That just can't go on. Although this perception may be based on a more of a feeling than a physical observation. Don't worry about what the physical world tells you anymore anyway, right? It's all about feelings these days. I know, I'm stretching it. I'm sorry. Occasionally, they are noted to have glowing eyes, commonly red or green. And that's something you hear about the Mothman. I can't say Mothman anymore. Mothman, okay? The glowing red eyes. Although this is not always the case, now they may also sometimes be described as wearing clothing such as a hat or a cape. Although again, this is not always the case. And when it comes to the Carmel, Maine shadow dude, that is your thing right there. So Black Templar in the chat room, to add to this, thank you, saying, had 2 aggressive encounters with the likes of shadow thingies some years ago. And Annabelle Lee, thank you so much, sister. I really appreciate all the links you put in there. And I apologise for not going in often enough, but I'm back there now. We're on this. And you today, Annabelle, this is from you, this show. And I'm going to give all of you a chance to participate after this story as well. We'll dive in together to a couple of links. See where it takes us. It may go somewhere. It may not. We'll see what rabbit hole opens up. But yes, indeed. Let's see what else it says here then. Yeah, we got the hat. We got all of that. So it says, subject is not singular. It is unknown how many subjects count among its numbers, but whatever the total is, it's expansive exactly. Various descriptions of these shadowy type things. So yeah, totally agree with that. And I tell you, this website is pretty cool from what the bit I have seen of it. Pretty cool indeed. So it says the modus operandi. The subject's modus operandi may vary from encounter to encounter, but most commonly, subject does little more than lurk. It's a lurker alert. Lurker. So the lurking variety typically appears in the bedroom of targets or online in the background on YouTube. People away from the keyboard, people, just want to listen. I get that. And I love the chat room. But I get how it can be distracting as well. Many's a stream I've been on other channels, and I've got so engrossed in what's going on in the chat room that I'll admit it, hands up, I've had to go back and rewatch the stream again. Because, yeah, you hear it going on in the background. So, yeah, lurkers. But I'm not going to call the lurkers on YouTube shadow people. I wouldn't go that far, okay? So sleeping targets may awaken suddenly to find the subject standing in the corner of the room, in the doorway, at the foot of the bed, etc., or if already awake, then the targets may catch sight of subject in their peripheral vision. That's where I come into this equation, my personal story. Just out the corner of that one eye. And I can see it and feel it more. More feel it, feel a presence. You know, you can tell somebody's there without really looking at it. You see it. And it was the toilet. I thought my son had left the toilet door open. You don't turn around and look at it. But this thing was, I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Although subject may or may not have identifiable eyes, the targets who encounter this version of subject reporting feeling watched or experiencing a deep and unshakable feeling of dread. Subjects will often vanish as quickly as they appeared, and sometimes walking into a wall or other solid objects and out of sight. Now, or else simply fading from view. Lurking subjects may sometimes be interpreted as omens or warnings, although it's not always precisely clear or clear precisely what they may be foreshadowing. Subject may also be seen to exhibit wandering behaviour, simply appearing in a given location and milling about. Wandering subjects may travel aimlessly, or they may appear to have a ghost or a goal they intend to reach. That's interesting. They are typically uninterested in targets, activities. They are consumed only with their own agenda. And it is also not unheard of for the subject to display hostile or violent behaviour towards targets. In these cases, subject may at first appear to be lurking, of the lurking variety. Crazy lurker. And yeah, I've changed cups now. I'd made like a really piping hot cup of tea and left it over here for when I finished my coffee. So I didn't have to move. I knew I was going to get engrossed in this stuff. So it says, may or, oh, hang on, sorry. In these cases, the subject may at first appear to be lurking variety only to then attack targets in some way, shape or form. Suffocation being among the most common. Black Templar says, when you do calls again, I'll share my experiences with them on the stream if interested. Absolutely. And tomorrow there's no guests on the Kev Baker show proper, and I'll definitely be able to open up the TFR line, so that's not a problem. So yeah, please, Black Templar, I'd love to hear from you. And of course we had Mikhail on the show, who's spent his life, you know, with these entities around him. So yeah, I'd love to hear about that. A big shout out again to everyone in the chat room. Got Half Q Cricket's in there. Good to see you, Cricket. Everyone's in there. Yes, indeed. All the usual suspects. Mr. Golden V. I think that might be a new name. Mike Ray. Yep. Lich, good to see you. Yeah, back to this. So then, let's see. Subjects may or may not attempt to communicate with the target. They are not known to speak, or at least not allowed. And they do not typically gesture or physically indicate that they have something to say. However, in rare circumstances, subjects may have a message for targets. It is, however, up to targets to correctly decipher the message. Now, that could be pretty hard, right? How are you meant to decipher what it's telling you? And even when you think you've deciphered it, how do you know you're right? Is there like some kind of fact-checking Shadow Dude website? Is there like Snopes for shadow people online? I don't know. Taking it too far? Think so. But that's what I do here. So then, it is also not known precisely how the subject identifies its targets. A high percentage of targets who encounter subject experience sleep issues. The same is true of targets embroiled in periods of extreme stress. Now, whether these factors are part of the identification process, however, remains unclear. And listen, folks, I will have to be slightly logical here. And I do think some cases, listen, I'm being very, very, very specific. Some cases, I think, might be the result of some brain chemistry, some brain reaction. I know they say sleep paralysis to try and rubbish the whole topic, but I do think that that may result in these experiences or something like it sometimes. But that's not to say and not to rubbish shadow people, okay? So yeah, we go down on here, and they could, if it's stress, that fear, that vibration, maybe that's what attracts them. Maybe they're there to document things. I get that feeling about them. When it comes to The Fringe, if you've seen that show, the observers, they've got the hats on, the suits. Their names are the months of the year. They basically travel in and out of time, and time cops, or time observers. And I feel there's almost that kind of quality to some of the shadow dudes. So it says containment. Subject may not be fully contained. No shit. There ain't no... Well, could you put one in a Dybbuk box? Could you? I think the Dybbuk box, maybe. And the Ghostbusters. Everyone knows the Ghostbusters have got machines, right? Soak them in. So maybe one of them. As such, so there's no containment. However, targets may enact various protection measures in the event of an encounter or an attack. So breathing exercises and immediate techniques are recommended should targets find themselves in the presence of the subject. Breathing techniques. That's interesting. Again, that kind of targets or indicates or hints at something going on in the mind, getting more oxygen in there. I don't know. Additionally, cleansing your space and filling and surrounding your home with positive energy may act as a preventatives or deterrents for subject before they even arrive in the first place. Exactly. When you don't learn how to put out the fire, don't let the fire start in the first place. These measures are not guaranteed to be effective, but they're better than nothing. And then the additional notes. Now, although traces of subjects may be found throughout various cultural archives scattered throughout human history, or at least his story, what we're told about history, who knows what went on in the past? I can't tell you really what went on in my own lifetime, let alone before I was here. So much of what I've been told about the time I've been here, I can't trust. So how on earth's name am I meant to know what went on before I was here? I'm just meant to take the word of it, and I don't know. You get me, right? You feel me? So our current understanding of them is largely due to Heidi Hawley's many appearances on Coast to Coast beginning in the early 2000s, or Hollis's theories about subjects are not shared by all paranormal investigators and experts. That's okay. But her theories remain prevalent all the same. Yes, thank you, Mannerus. Ah, yes, indeed. If the shadow entity had facial features like AOC, I'd be conjuring one as we speak. So then, I know people will get triggered by that, but that's okay. That's okay. So then, let's see. Others believe... Oh, hang on. A wide variety of theories exist about who or what subject actually is. Some believe they're simply ghosts, a variety of apparition explained by the presence of the spirit of a departed human. I think there's something different between what we think about ghosts, like souls or imprints or something of the dead, and these shadow things. There's something more deliberate and almost more conscious about the shadow dudes. My opinion. Others believe they may be time travelers who, due to the limitations of technology, are only able to appear to those in the eras to which they travel as mere shadows of themselves. Similar to the time travel theory is that which deems subject as interdimensional beings, creatures, not necessarily people, although possibly so, capable of travelling between dimensions, yet only visible as shadows in each dimension to which they travel. Other paranormal possibilities include extraterrestrials, the jinn, and demons. And I think it includes all of them and probably many more things. And even then, do we really know? All I can tell you is that there are people experiencing whatever this is, and it's very real to them, as it was to me. So definitely, And it goes, however, there is also some scientific evidence for the subject being the product of various documented health or medical issues. Sleep paralysis in which your brain and body become out of sync in the rapid eye movement portion of the sleep cycle may account for at least some encounters with the subject. And symptoms of sleep paralysis include hallucinations, which typically fall into 3 categories. According to a 2005 study, not for every study, there's 10 that come out with something contrary and contradictory to it. So take it at face value. Intruder hallucinations, which include a vague sense of a threatening presence accompanied by assorted noises, footsteps, gibbering voices, humanoid apparition, and sensations of being touched or grabbed. Incubus experiences, which experiences include breathing difficulties, feelings of suffocation, bodily pressure, pain, and morbid thoughts of impending death. And vestibular motor experiences, which include sensations of linear and angular acceleration, described as floating, flying, and falling, as well as other related phenomena such as out-of-body experiences. The hallmarks of intruder and incubus experiences during sleep paralysis are consistent with observations made about the subject. And a study from 2006 also found that when the region of the brain known as the left temporal proportional proprietal junction, the TPJ, that's far easier, is stimulated, it can create the illusion of a shadow person. Now, that could be a really convenient way for like the psychiatric, the neurological, neuroscience type people to explain away what is a very real phenomenon. I'm open to that. But at the same time, I'm very open to the fact that our brains are very, very amazing yet mysterious places. And so much can go on in there that really does seem to be real. You ever looked at the world around you? You know, all of that literally is going on inside your head, right? Because every aspect of the world around you, the physical world, everything you think, everything about that, even the things you touch, the things you love, the things you like to eat, everything, all of that's happening in your head. So don't tell me that your brain can't produce a hallucination that isn't real, right? Ooh, deep. So it goes on to say down here, it is not certain whether or not the subject is related in any way to other subjects, such as, and here is going to be our choice, ladies and gentlemen. Here is your choice. We have number 1, the black-eyed children, or number 2, the Slender Man. Right? This is where we're going to go from here. You choose where we go next. A connection has been neither proven nor ruled out. So I want 1 for black-eyed children, 2 for Slender Man, okay? And there is yet another school of thought when it comes to what precisely subject is as well. According to some, they are reflections of our own inner psyches, the parts of ourselves we hide away, the ones we don't let anyone see, not even ourselves, our own darkest thoughts, feelings, and impulses. Recommendations: should you encounter the subject, shite yourself, no, remain calm, keep breathing, and perhaps give some thought to why you might be seeing what you're seeing. Yes, indeed, so we've got 1 in there. There we go, here come the votes. It's number 1 for the black-eyed children link, number 2 for the Slender Man, and number 1s are winning so far. Yes, indeed. I'm going to put some tunes on while we do this. This is cool. I'm liking it. Yep. Let's get the votes in. Number 1 for the black-eyed kids. Number 2, if you want Slender Man. We're going to give it 30 seconds. Go. backstage boxing. Did you see Deontay Wilder's fight the other night? Dang. He was getting his ass handed to him and then boom! Bam! Squad. Oh, he done him. Don't be scared, cricket. Don't be scared. We'll keep it fun. It's only Shadow Dudes and the Black-Eyed Kids. Ooh. Okay, the votes are in. And unlike any other kind of vote count here, we don't rig things. It's quite obviously a 1. Quite obviously a 1. Let's go back, see where the 1 takes us. You know where we're going. Oh, yes. It's the Black-Eyed Children. One of my favourite kind of woo, paranormal type topics. And I've been lucky enough in the past to have been joined by Nick Redfern on the Kev Baker Show. Myself and Scott Lopez and Johnny Whistles, we hung out with Nick Redfern. He writes a lot for the Mysterious Universe. You've seen him on a lot of the paranormal documentaries. But yeah, he was talking to us about the Black-Eyed Children as well. And it's a topic that I really can't offer you even my own hard set theory. I'm very open to suggestion as to what might be responsible for this phenomena that keeps coming back time and time again, various reports. And in the, I would say recent past, I've seen 1 or 2 stories that actually start to talk about black-eyed adults as well. Now, I don't know what to make of that. I'm waiting to see if more of those reports come through, but the black-eyed anything, how sinister can you get? A lot of these stories, they tend to be where you go to the door, there's the door and you go and open it and there they are. Usually come in 2s or more, just standing there. I'd freak you right out, right? I'd totally freak you out. You'd be like, what is going on here? I know you should never cause physical harm to the young or anything, but can we agree that maybe just even a soft kick if you find a black-eyed kid at the door acting all spooky and wooky like that? I don't know. Are you getting away with that? Definitely not in the UK, right? No, you're going to jail. But I don't know, maybe a broomstick? I don't know, something to scare away a black-eyed kid. What's going to work? Garlic round the neck? Perhaps. But yeah, what is this all about? And for me as well, I don't know why, but it's almost like you get a feeling, or I get a sense of some connection to the shadow entities. I do. In the article we read here, it says there may be or there may not be a connection. For some reason, I get the same feeling at that gut level that there's something to do with these creepy little black-eyed children. So let's click the link that you all chose. This is, we got to the junction in the rabbit hole, if you want to picture it, and left or right. You have chose number 1, left, black-eyed children. So we go to the ghost machine, the encyclopedia of the woo, stories and of the strange and unusual. And here we go here. We have got the black-eyed children broken down for us, classified, as only this website does. So it says type PE, preternal or prenatural, wait a minute, preternatural entity. That's a weird one, right? We're going to have to see if that's even a word. Neil Bowie says, yep, even the Black Eyed Peas as well. They come in their hundreds. Good one, Neil. Good one. So then, it says period, location of origin. Late 1990s, Abilene, Texas, United States. However, some reports throughout history may trace subjects back much further and in many other countries. And I think that's where the truth lies there. The appearance. Subjects appear to be children. No shit. Black-eyed children appear to be children. Typically, I know, I'm being silly, between the ages of 10 and 13, although sometimes as young as 6 or as old as 18. Now, they may be of any gender, good, I'm glad to see it's good and inclusive, and may have any hair colour or texture or skin tone. They are dressed in the styles popular for children in the era in which they are encountered, and subjects typically travel in pairs, although small groups have also been recorded. They are generally unremarkable but for two details: their demeanour, which is usually confident, and their eyes. Regarding the subject's eyes, targets may not initially notice the fact that they resemble nothing so much as black holes. Whether the subject's eyes were always black, or whether they only reveal their true nature when a target is close to capture, is yet to be determined. Oh, ooga booga. So the modus operandi of the black-eyed children. The subjects will begin by selecting a target. Are you an adult? Are you kind? Do you look the kind of person whose heart would go out to a lost child? Who would do whatever you can to help them find their way home? Yes? If so, it's too late for you. Subjects will then track target, approaching only at night, and only when a target is A, in a private location, such as a home or personal vehicle, and B, in isolation from other people. They will approach in such a manner as to seem to be seeking aid. If the target is in a vehicle, the subject may claim to need a ride. If the target is at home, the subjects may claim to need to use the telephone or the restroom, etc. Subject's immediate goal is to convince targets to let them inside. Now, should they gain entry to the target's location, the target may begin to feel uneasy or ill. Subjects will show no sign of leaving, assuaging or assuaging, who cares, the target by insisting that their parents will arrive soon. Targets may at this point realize the unique and troubling state of the subject's eyes. The target's location may begin experiencing issues with the power supply. Imagine that. You've let a couple of kids in, maybe wet, stuck out in the cold, need to phone their mum or something like that, and come in and they phone and sit on the sofa, and then you look at them and their eyes are black, and then the power goes out. Holy shinoly. No thanks. No, I'd rather not be that person. Thank you very much. Subjects may eventually depart of their own accord, and whether or not they have gained entry to the target's location, they may be retrieved by figures that appear to be adults, or they may simply vanish unseen. Dearie me. Side effects experienced by the targets in the aftermath of a visit from the subject include nosebleeds, dizzy spells, pets going missing or dying, and in some cases the development of chronic or terminal illnesses. Anyone for a sleep on the magic bed? Oh, so then the subject's ultimate goal remains unknown. Containment. I don't advise that you hold any children hostage in your house if they come to the door, because that's going to open up a really crazy can of worms when you phone the police and say, I've got a couple of kids here, I've locked them in a room. That doesn't go down too well. Don't throw them in any Fritzl type cellar, anything like that. I get it, they're scary, but you gotta be really careful in this day and age. You can't go catching kids whether they got black eyes or not, right? Subjects do not appear to be able to gain entry into the homes, vehicles, etc., without express permission and an invitation from the target. Well, you know what that sounds like, don't you? Dun, 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 counter. Black Childula. Yes, indeed. Vampires, anyone? As such, containment might seem obvious. Simply do not open the door to them. How can you not open the door to them? You're going to look out the eye, like the eye hole. You're not going to see them. You're just going to see the tops of two little heads. You're not going to assume they're there with demonic-like intentions, are you? Because you're all good people. All good people. Yes, indeed. Somebody says, what if it's a result of that crazy kind of mind control stuff that they've done in the past and continue to do now? Who knows, dude? Who knows? I'm open, like I say, I'm open to anything. So then we keep going down here. And it says, however, subjects' persuasive abilities should not be underestimated. Additional notes. The first account of subjects in their modern form dates back to the 90s in Texas. In a post sent to an online news group in 1998, journalist Brian Bethel recounted an incident in which two boys who appeared to be 10 and 14 years of age approached him in his car and asked for a ride to their mother's house. They said they wanted to see a movie, Mortal Kombat, which had been released in 1995. The incident occurred in the parking lot of a second-run cinema. Now, but had left their money at home. The children, only one of whom spoke, made Bethel uneasy when he realised their eyes were of coal black, followed by the older boy insisting with great force, "We can't come in the car unless you tell us it's okay." He took that as his cue to be a hasty retreat. Out of there, I'm telling you, man, I'm gone. Bethel suffered no ill effects in the long term, although he has stated that he believes he would not have survived had he opened his car door. How many people have opened their car door that we've never seen again? Other targets have not been so fortunate. One report dated early 2016 from a target who did not open their doors, or who did. Oh, they did open their doors to the subjects. Noted the steady decline in the health of the target and target's spouse. A second report from a friend of a target dated late 2016 speculates that target's sudden death was not unrelated to the target's encounter with subjects just 6 months prior. Now, a connection between the subjects and incidents documented in Cannock Chase has been proposed, but remains a theory only. And exactly what subjects remain unknown. Some have suggested they are demonic in natures, others vampiric, others paranormal, and still others extraterrestrial. It's also been suggested that the subjects are a thought experiment, although that might not make them much safer. So we've got two links at the bottom of this. So we do. We've got these two links here. We can take a look at the incident that was documented in Cannock Chase. Lothar's blaming it on the Freemasons. Oh yeah. We're going to see the dancing pineapple. You know it's coming, folks. You know it's coming. Yes, indeed. I don't know what's better, the dancing pineapple or the Mothman. Mothman! Thank you, Lothar. Thank you so much. And various ways to support.
I blame it all on the Freemasons.
Various ways to support the stream. You can chip in on the Super Chat. You can buy stickers in the Super Chat as well. And you could also become a member, and that opens up the VIP member lounge on a Sunday. Sometimes members only chat, sometimes member only stream. And of course there is PayPal in the description. A big shout out to Sex Lexia and her mum as well. A very generous donation to the stream. Big shout out to you. So yes, where do you want to go, folks? The Cannock Chase incident, or in fact, let's have a look down here. We can go to somebody that's skeptic, the skeptoid, the black-eyed kids, or we can go to a witness report. I let the black-eyed children into my home. Do you want to go skeptic for number one? Let's get the tunes back on. Let's get some crazy kind of tunes on in the background here. I'll find something very apt for this. Something nice and cheery. Yes, indeed. Come on in, folks. Get your votes in. It's number one for the skeptoid. And it's number two for the witness report. I let the black-eyed children into my home. One for skeptoid. One we go deeper on the black-eyed children. Let me know what you think in the chat room. Get your ones and twos in. Hey, Nancy in the chat room as well. I know that was a loaded question, right? Who on earth's name wanted to go for the skeptoid route? Yes, indeed. And don't forget, folks, coming up later, we have got... That way. Brendan Drackler is going to be on with me later. I love hanging out with Brendan. We'll get a laugh and a joke about how he's a big NASA shill. Brendan plays on it. We love it. So, yeah, I invite you all to join me on tfrlive.com, Truth Frequency Radio, the home of the Kev Baker Show. Or you can chill right here. But please remember to show TFR some support. Share the link for the show. You can be in two chat rooms at once and it doesn't cost you a penny. Not 1 penny. So yes, I'd love for all of you to come here later. And let's do one thing. Let's do one thing between this stream and the next. Let's share out the link that you can see on the screen there. I'm going to put it in the chat room. And if you could, you don't have to, but if you can, please share out the link for the show. So I'm going to drop that in the chat room right now. And I know when I thought about it there, it was a bit of a loaded question, right? Especially with the crowd I've got here. I knew we were going to end up going into Chanic or Canic Chase. Or at least, do we want to go to Canic Chase or do we want to go to the witness report, I let the black-eyed children into my home? We're not going to the skeptoid, but I've seen some people saying Canic Chase. Yes. A connection between subjects and incidents documented in Canic Chase has been proposed. Let's go there first. We'll just take a look at the two. We'll do these kind of quickly. It's a different site altogether. Yes, indeed. Let's take a look at this then, right? We'll do these and then I'll shoot away, get something to eat, because I am eating so good and so healthy these days and I'm getting so much sleep. It is awesome. And I hope you can pick up on the energy increase that I'm getting, not just from that, but all of you as well. Yeah, I know all of you are feeding into this. Can't thank you enough, folks, honestly. So then, let's get into it. The Black-Eyed Kids of Canic Chase comes from a website called Sword and Scale. Yeah, sounds like some justice-y type thing going on here. Canic, yes. We'll go there. We'll go to the other one. Geraldine in the chat room. I don't open my door unless I know who's at it. I need to know if someone's calling, and I've been told in time. It's a habit I've gotten into since troubles here when leaving doors open wasn't good. Geraldine, I honestly don't believe you. I honestly don't blame you. Sorry, that came out all wrong there. I don't blame you. Myself and Anne, we're very, very cautious. We live in a multi-flat kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, masonette. We call it block here, you know. But yeah, there's a shared door at the front, and there's telecom. You buzz in, and I tell you, if you don't know who it is, if you don't know who it is, then yeah, I'm with you, Geraldine. And it's a horrible thing, right? It's a horrible thing when really we can't open our doors to strangers because there's just so many bad or ill-intended people out there. Symptomatic of the times that we live in, folks, right? Where I grew up in Fort Augustus, literally, you left your door open at night. There was no need to lock it. I'm being serious here. Now, not so much. There's been new people moving in and places got a bit bigger and more strangers there. But when I grew up, because everyone knew everyone, it was all like maybe 10 or more families. When you looked at it all, just door open. You never thought of locking the door because people looked out for one another. That small community, like we've got going on here, our little small community. I love it. So then, by day, the Forest of Cannock Chase is a place for families to explore the wilderness, featuring biking. I thought I said bikinis. I was going to say bikinis at Cannock Chase. I don't know that. Only on a good day. Featuring biking and hiking trails throughout the thick woodlands, a lake, and a host of special friendly or family-friendly events year-round. It is without a doubt one of the most spectacular natural marvels in the UK. Now, in spite of general serene atmosphere, the area has been marred by tragedy throughout history. It is because of these tragedies that some say that once the sun goes down, the Cannock Chase Forest becomes home to more than just adventure-seeking families. Oh, we've got a forest in this story as well. Hope there's no staircases kicking around. The original story of the Black-Eyed Kids, written by Brian Bethel, is perhaps one of the very first instances of an urban legend being created on the internet. Though Bethel may have been the first to report on the mysterious phenomena, to his surprise, shortly after he published the story, dozens of people wrote to him to tell him that they had similar experiences with these particularly creepy children. Now that makes me personally wonder, have we created the black-eyed children? Could they be some kind of creation from our imagination or from Brian Bethel's imagination, but fueled by the consciousness, fueled by even shows like this? Me talking to you about the black-eyed children, reinforcing this, what was an idea, and almost giving it energy to the point where it becomes a thing. That's the way I see the Slender Man. That's why, you got to be really careful about intent. Where energy goes, or where attention goes, energy flows. Always think positive. Always try to be positive. That's definitely got to be the way, folks. So then, we scroll down here. That is utterly creepy, that face, right? I better make sure it's on the screen. It is. Good. It says, are they the ghosts of children who have passed, or are they demons taking on a childlike image? For those who believe in such things, no one is really certain. What is known is that the sightings of the black-eyed children, or black-eyed kids, have been reported all over the world, including within Cannock Chase, where a number of particularly heinous murders had taken place during the 1960s. Margaret Reynolds was only 6 years old when she turned up missing in September of 1965. That's awful. And she was last seen walking to school in the Birmingham suburb of Aston. When she never returned home that night, her family feared the worst. 3 months had passed and still there was no trace of little Reynolds girl when a second girl, Diane Tift, had also seemed to vanish into thin air. Diane had been walking back to her house from her grandmother's home in Bromwich. She was only 5 years old at the time of her abduction. And Armand says these are possibly jinn tulpas. A lot of black-eyed kids stories are seen around homeless camps. Thank you very much, Armand. And we have Half Q, a new member. Yes, indeed. We should be getting a little alert on the screen soon. That will take us up to... there it is, folks. There it is. We are 3 away from the Mothman. Half Q, thank you so much, brother. Somebody down in Wales there. Yes, indeed. Love it. Absolutely love it. Somebody says they believe they are the Greys. That's Hod God. We're open to all ideas here, folks. All ideas. Diane had been walking back to her house from the grandmother's home in Bromwich. She was only 5 at the time of her abduction. It would be nearly another month before their families would get the news they had been simultaneously dreading and hoping for. Within the underbrush of the Cannock Chase forest, a worker in the area had spotted a tiny body, and the girl had been left there. And horrible, horrible, horrible. We don't need to go into the details of that. We get the idea. Now, around the same time, 2 girls claimed that a man named Raymond Leslie Morris had led them to an apartment in Walsall. The girls allegedly had been taken into different places, and he was subsequently... And this goes on to some really, we don't need to hear about that. Let's just agree that there was some really heinous stuff going on in the area. But, okay then, well, maybe we need a little bit more of it. I just don't want to go into too much detail here, folks. And it goes into a bit of detail. So we can see how there's somewhere, right, Cannock Chase, where we've had the reportings of these shadow-type entities, okay? And something really bad happening there in the past. That's what we got to see there. And what we'll do now is we'll take one more look at the other story, the one that we had voted for, or the number 2 you had voted for, more kind of reports. And we'll do that, and then I'll get shooting offwards, and we'll get ready for the later stream with Brendan Drackler, okay? So I'm going to shove on some tunes. I'll get that other story up for us. We will get into it, and we'll reboot. We'll put my scientific head on, and we'll be back with Brendan later on. How does that sound, folks? A big shout out to Half Q and all the other members out there, all the super chatters. It really, really, really means the world. You don't know how much we rely on that here. And PayPal donations, Patreons, everything. All of it in its way absolutely helps. So then, some tunes on, and then we can get into this next part of the story, the final part of our Encyclopedia of Strange and the Unusual, and then I'm going to go and feed my rather large son, who's neither strange nor unusual. He's eager to get some... What was it with teenagers? They never stop eating, right? What is that all about? So here we go, folks. I'll put on some tunes. I'll be right back. Oh, well, if I get a tune that's there, come on, Kev, you can do it. I'm trying not to laugh at that music. That's pretty bad, right? That's pretty grim even by my standards. Pretty cheesy and just so not in line with the paranormal topic that we're doing today. Turn down. Please, what are you doing? What are you doing? Coney, could you go in charge of the music from now on? Please, Coney. I think you need to be in charge of the music. Unirock's got busy. I've got Coney. He can do the music, right? It's got to be the way forward. So we've got one more link to go to before I let you all get back about your business today. And it's this one here. It is, Can We Come In? The lore of the black-eyed children. So yes, we'll take a quick look at this. We won't get into all of it. It's probably massive. Yeah, we'll do a bit of it. Okay, there's got a conclusion at the bottom. We'll see what their conclusion is. But it says here, and this comes from jimharold.com. Yes, indeed. And by Jim Harold. So then, I'll zoom it in a bit. It's that time of year again. The time, so it says, Can We Come In? The lore of the black-eyed children. It's that time of year again, the time when we drool over pumpkin-sliced lattes, wiggle our way into the all-autumn sweaters, and glue our eyes to our televisions to watch countless horror movies under a full moon. But for those of us who find ourselves researching the paranormal, this is just another typical day in our curious minds. Absolutely loving the topic already, loving this story. So, and while my previous article for the Hidden Auditorium focused on the possible crypto cousins of the Greys, I thought this time it would be interesting to cover another topic that involves black-eyed beings from the human persuasion, or of the human persuasion, or so it would seem. Oh, Lance, thank you so much. Yes, you need the boy to help the soundtrack, indeed. Thank you.
You need the boys to help you on the soundtrack.
No, they picked that really dark music. Come on, man. Really? You want, at the weekend, I've given them control of the musical kind of side of things, right? You'll be pleased to know that, Lance, but I can't give up control of the daytime stream and the live shows and things like that. I can't do that. I can't give them that as well. Come on. Leave me with some cheesy music. I love you, Lance. Thank you. So imagine sitting in your living room one night reading a book. You begin to doze off, the strain of the day slowly fading away as your eyes close. Suddenly, a harsh knock on the front door springs you to full attention. It's too late, you think to yourself. Who could it possibly be? You make way to the door and peer out the peephole. There's a dark silhouette of a small figure in your distorted view, and you open the door, assuming this is a child. You're right. But what you notice next makes this anything but a normal encounter with an adolescent. We need the sound effects back. This is definitely is deserving of some, get the dramatics going. Here we go. Yes, indeed. See what I'm saying? So staring back at you are two eyes. But they aren't the average iris, pupil, or sclera that you're used to seeing. They are pure black from lid to lid. Nothing but the moon bounces light off these deep pools of nothingness. You shudder, trying to take in the unusual sight before you. That's when you realise that standing behind the child are two more figures. They slowly move forward, their eyes identical to the leader. They wear simple clothes, perhaps a solid black hooded sweatshirt. It falls baggy over the unusual pale skin. The leader finally speaks. Can we come in? You stare at them dumbfounded. Why would you let a child into your home this late at night? Where are the parents? They unintentionally, perhaps, answer your queries with blunt assertion. We're lost. We don't have anywhere to go. Please let us come in. So you are sweating, you tremble, adrenaline courses through your veins as you take stock of the situation. They continue staring at you with their soulless eyes. The debate wages in your head whether or not to slam the door on them. No debate in my mind. That door was slammed the minute I caught a look at their peepers. Door slammed, out of there, behind the sofa, shiting myself. That's exactly where I would be right now. I'm making no lies about it. I might be toxic, but I'm no hard man. Okay? So it says here, or let them inside. Not an option, folks. Not an option. They're just kids, you assure yourself, aren't they? As the debate wages on, you can feel your heart pounding harder than ever before. Something about this situation is not only unusual, it's downright terrifying. Please, let us in. No matter what you do next, it feels like it is the wrong answer. You're left in your doorway, having just encountered what has since been coined as an experience with the black-eyed children. This phenomenon spans continents, and with each passing encounter, these strange children seem to become more and more aggressive. But what exactly is that they want? But what exactly is it that they want? And what happens if you let them in? Who cares? Don't find out. While once thought to stem from online urban legend, the black-eyed kids became darker and disturbing sensation. Stories cropping up all over the world, recounting terrifying tales of the children and their devious pleads for car rides or invites into homes. It was now harder than ever to separate the fact from the fiction. And that's important to note as well, okay? We like to remain logical here. It's good to kind of suspend your beliefs and go into the woo and really stretch it at times, as I do. But at the same time, this did start online. You know, not everything you see online is true, folks. Go figure, right? Newsflash, not that anyone needed told that. I know. I apologise for speaking to you all as if you even needed to be told that. But I think they're real. I do. And I think we create them somehow. But let's go on. It says, the BA keys, or black-eyed kids, soon falling into the same skeptical box as the Slender Man and other legends thought to be created online. And it all seemed to have begun with a singular encounter that sparked a phenomenon. And then we go back to Brian Bethel was the journalist. We heard about him earlier on. And it says it was 1996 when he was on his way to pay an internet bill at a local provider's office. He pulled over near a movie theatre using the marquee's light to write the check. And remember, we listened earlier on about how he thinks he might have lost his life. So it says here, frozen in his car, Bethel listed as the leader asked if they could have a ride to their mother's house. They wanted to get money to see a movie at a nearby theatre. It won't take long. We're just kids. Hell no. So that's describing his story again, right? Says, I caught up with Bethel recently. So the person here writing this, he's actually spoke to him, hoping that he could shed some more light on his terrifying incident that night and just exactly what he thought of his story sparking countless tales of the black-eyed children. Now, my first inquiry was if the incident had instilled any type of paranoia or follow-up events of high strangeness, as had often been reported in other cases of the black-eyed kids. He would tell me, my sleep was greatly disturbed. I didn't want to sleep at all, actually. I felt unsafe doing so. I kept having this fantasy of them appearing at the foot of my bed, like the shadow people, right? Or waiting outside my door for me when I went outside. It was a rough few weeks, I'll say, and the effects linger to this day. The use of black eyes to symbolise evil has become a common trope in horror films and other media, and I will tell you that every time I see such an image, especially if I'm not expecting it, I flash back briefly to those terrible, agonising moments in my car. I legitimately do not know if I was going to die or not. Did not know if I was going to die or not. I have never been so terrified. So, as for Bethel's leaked email becoming a template for similar stories, both fabricated and real, I wanted to see what his thoughts were on this controversy and just exactly how he felt about possibly creating an accidental urban legend. It's easy now to write something quasi-convincing based on the model of kids knocking on a car window, asking to come in. Door opener detects something is wrong. Terrible revelation, rinse and repeat. I judge each story shared with me on its own merits, but I apply greater skepticism to anything that adheres too slavishly to the basic formula. I look and listen for little variations and details that add more verisimilitude. If it's just a carbon copy of what I've heard or seen, I tend to dismiss it or at least give it less credence. That said, I have heard many, many stories that I'm convinced are true. So if true, what exactly are these children? Whether it be aliens disguised as children hoping to abduct innocent humans, or if they are some sort of soul-sucking demons, nice, trying to take over a vulnerable host, the possibilities remain endless. I found Bethel's answer to this very question most intriguing. Quote, I don't know for sure. What I do know is that they are really, really bad things that go after people. Can't say that word. And we are the food. So yeah, they view us as some kind of sustenance. We're a food source to them. Something energetic going on now. So I don't think they eat us in any literal sense, but they do want something from us. Maybe they just want to kill, but I tend to think the design is far more complex than that. Until you've been on the receiving end of those terrible dark eyes, filled with hate and torn from the very depths of night and time, I'm not sure you can understand. And people I've spoken with who have truly seen them understand completely. It says, in trying to better understand these accounts, assuming they're genuine encounters with these children, my research would soon lead me to perhaps one of the most comprehensive studies on the black-eyed kids. Author David Weatherly combined an extensive list of experiences with these enigmatic youngsters, and he aptly titled a full-length book, Black-Eyed Children. Now, I spoke to Weatherly about these encounters and his approach to disseminating actual testimony from urban legend. Quote, one of my goals when I wrote the book was to find out if the encounters predated the internet and television. The trick was, while researching, to eliminate the catchphrase black-eyed kids and black-eyed children. Those terms are very modern, but I was able to find cases that certainly go back through history. And it mentions one of these cases here. I might as well do this one. This is interesting. One of the more stunning accounts Weatherly came across dated all the way back to 1974 in the Picardy region of in France, somewhere in France, right? According to an early witness report from the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomena, NICAP, two men known only as Alain and Patrick were making a leisurely drive through a small village enjoying the autumn weather. It was around 3 p.m. when they decided to turn around and take a different route. Now, upon turning, Patrick noticed something near the last house in the village that made him hit the brakes. There in the courtyard of the house were 5 small figures. 3 of them stood in the background huddled together. Another was tracing its hands along the home. And the last figure will be, I'm always joking. The last figure stood facing Alan, or Patrick and Alain. Alan rolled down his passenger side window to get a better look. He reports that his blood ran cold when faced with the being, Weatherly would tell me. The appearance of the 5 characters was as strange as their behaviour. They were all just over 4 feet tall. They were dressed alike with long garments that almost reached the ground. And these garments were decorated with multicoloured spots. The beings themselves had earthy yellow skin and long hair that fell down their backs and to their waist. That's weird, right? Their noses were compressed inwards, and their eyes were described as enormous, solid black hemispheres the size of billiard balls. Soon, the being closest to the car began to wave at Patrick and Alan, gesturing to come closer. The motion of being scared, the motion of the being scared Alan so much that he screamed in terror for Patrick to drive away. Now Patrick hit the gas pedal and they sped out of the area to a nearby town. They told several locals of what they had witnessed. They returned hours later to find no sign of the small beings anywhere. 8 months later, an investigator finally made it to the scene and spoke with nearby residents, Weatherly recounted. Interestingly, he found a neighbour who had noticed the beings on the road in front of the home. He reported that he thought the beings he saw were children dressed in yellow oilcloth. Now, while this pre-internet account of black-eyed beings was intriguing, it didn't fit the mould of the stories that littered online forums and fringe websites. What about the children who begged to be let inside? Weatherly would come across a case slingshotting us back to the 1950s when a young man named Harold would have a startling encounter with a boy with black eyes. So we're almost done this now, so I might as well finish it and then we'll get out of here. Harold was 16 years old when it happened. He was making the long walk home from a friend's house. As he made his way down the dirt road leading to the entrance, he noticed a small figure leaning against the fence in front of the house. Now, as he approached, he noticed that it was a boy. Being a small town, everyone knew everyone. Harold was puzzled, having never seen this child before. He immediately started talking to the boy, but received no response. He asked if the boy was all right, and after a moment, the boy finally replied, "I want to go to your house. Take me to your house." Oh, a chill rushed through Harold. He didn't know how to respond. It was in that moment that the boy looked up at him, a pair of solid black eyes staring at Harold with a desperate assertiveness. Harold felt glued to the ground, terrified. He looked up at the road, planning to run when the boy immediately shot back, "Now don't run away from me. You're going to walk me to your house." Harold was now feeling threatened. He made a run for it, sprinting up the road. Too scared to look back, all he heard was a screeching wail, like that of a bobcat. Was it the child? Was this the wail of anger for not listening to his threatening words? He wasn't about to stick around to find out. That makes it all the more real, right? The front door of the home flung open as Harold barreled through the entrance. Startled, his parents asked him what was wrong. So struggling to speak, he finally explained, what he had seen to his protective father. Soon his father grabbed a shotgun and headed down the road, desperately searching for this boy. There was absolutely no sign of him anywhere. The family was left wondering just what it was that Harold had experienced that night. His mother, fearing that it had literally been the devil in disguise, brought Harold to a local clergy and had him blessed. And with that, the encounter with the screaming boy at the fence, came and went with more questions than answers, So, conclusions. In the case of Brian Bethel, Patrick and Alan, and that of Harold, each encounter with these beings brought one singular sensation of pure terror. Now, while strange in scope, these small children, unthreatening in size, more than made up for it with their sinister eyes and unexplainable persuasiveness. In Weatherly's examinations into countless cases involving these black-eyed beings, he was able to find many connections. It was almost as if, feeding off fear of their victims, these beings were able to read the emotions and minds of those they approached. In turn, they seemed to either try to calm down or take the extreme route of threatening them. Either way, their goal of getting closer to the witness, whether in proximity or by literally entering a home or vehicle, was clear and threateningly concise. They wanted in. They wanted into a home. Or perhaps even more terrifying, they wanted into the soul of those who they came into contact with. There is no arguing that many accounts of these black-eyed children are completely fabricated, a digital game of telephone tricking through each online forum, website and message board. But the research done by David Weatherly proves that black-eyed beings can be traced back to even that of ancient China, where accounts of ghostly black-eyed girls were often reported. Angered by her wrongful death, she would haunt local villages, terrorising vulnerable passers-by, also being a supernatural cause for many natural disasters in the area. Other examples of folklore in Asian culture were also brought to the attention of Weatherly in his research. One can look at Japanese horror films that were directly inspired by ancient tales of demons and spirits, showing us modern-day versions of these apparitions and beings in the form of children with identical black eyes. Weatherly states there's a lot to indicate that these kids may be omens of ill fortune or perhaps warnings of coming difficulties. Those who have reported intense and fearful encounters often say that prayer and spiritual protection are what are believed to save them from worse consequences. The tradition doesn't seem to matter, since reports have come from every religion and every walk of life imaginable. And Weatherly would also tell me of one of the first accounts of a black-eyed being. This time, it was in the form of a statue. I'm very intrigued by the Urfa man found at Göbekli Tepe, a strange humanoid figure carved 13,500 years ago, so 13,500 years ago. Whoever made this statue took the time to carve solid black eyes out of obsidian. Countless people who have stood in front of the statue report a creepy, unsettling feeling they get from the being in its presence. I think this builds on the evidence that these black-eyed beings have been visiting the planet for a long time. Could this lend more credence that perhaps we are in fact dealing with an alien presence rather than ancient evil or ghostly apparitions? Perhaps it's a mixture of both. Perhaps it's neither. So no matter the case, while these beings seem pure in their dark intentions, Brian Bethel would calm my own nerves with these words of warning. They are dangerous entities, to be sure, but we have something they don't, something they desperately want. I believe it is the light within us, the human soul, that they crave. Whether they wish to corrupt it or to consume it, I don't know. But it is that very thing they desire that gives us the edge over them. It's something they apparently can't just take. Permission has to be given, and in that is our strength. It's good advice in general, but beware who you allow into your life and don't open doors for just anyone. Be discerning, be aware, and most important, be safe. And you know what, folks? That's exactly where I'm going to leave it today, because I think that's a brilliant way to look at anything. Be discerning, be aware, and most important, be safe. And I'll be back tonight, later on, 2 hours from now, precisely, near enough, with this cat here, Brendan Drachler. Yes, we'll be getting into exploring the cosmos, black holes, and a whole heap of other things as well. Join me for that. I'll drop the link in the chat room. Thank you all for joining me today. You really did take us down the rabbit hole. And I think we can give a big shout out to the website, The Ghost Machine, or theghostininmymachine.com. Very good website indeed. There it is, right there. No, it's not. There it is right there. Theghostininmymachine.com. And then that takes you to all the weird and the wonderful. So much for you to dive into on there, folks. So I'll leave a link for that as well. Thanks to everyone for supporting the stream. Thank you for the new member. We only have 3 to go until we unlock the Mothman. Mothman! I'm not a man, I'm a man! Yes, so until later, folks, keep it real. Keep looking for the woo. Keep your minds open, but not to the point where the brain turns to black goo. So I am out of here, and I'll catch you all here later. Remember to share the stream. Remember to like this one, like the next one, and I'll be back before you know it. I'm out of here.